One of the fights that emerged in digital copying has to do with sampling, with people who put together songs or narratives or whatever, posters, using images taken from the wider culture. And sometimes what happens is that the content owners who control this, who own this material, come after you and say you can't do it. And the perplexing larger question here is we are now so surrounded by advertising, by the language of commerce, that it seems odd to not be able to use that language to fight back. And so some of the people who've done this, who've been sued for sampling, say, how can you sue me? I mean, on the one hand, you bombard me with these stories and narratives and images, and then when I try to respond in the same terms, I can't. So I am now in the position of being living in a soup of language which I have no control over. When I was a child, my mother had a rule that we could not ask for Christmas presents of anything we saw advertised on television. Which, if all mothers in America did that, the country would grind to a halt. But you do think about that. I mean, there are now movies which are made for young people, which feature toys, which the young person is then supposed to get their parents to go out and buy them, and that works. That's how. But again, you are in a narrative whose elements are being manufactured. In the language of confidence games, there's a phrase called "get the mark," put the mark on the send. So there's a simple confidence game in which you just meet a guy on the street and you con him out of a couple dollars. But to put the mark on the send means to get a guy involved in a story, part of the plot of which is that the guy ought to go to the bank and take out thousands of dollars and bring it back and give it to you. So to put the mark on the send is to get somebody to act in the story in the way that you want them to act. Well, this is how advertising works. Advertising is meant to tell a short story which will put the mark on the send. So after the 30-second advertisement, you're supposed to go out and buy soap or whatever it is you're supposed to buy. So, we live in a soup of advertising culture which is out there to get us to act in a certain way. So now we are the actors in a story, but, it's not a story we invented.